You asked for it. Here it is. It's a podcast from Apathetic Enthusiasm.
Coming to you live from a day of certain infamy when George Washington rose from the blacklist ashes and carried the young fledgling U.S. to victory against the demonic British invaders. Actually, it was his birthday today, and this is Interdimensional RSS, the unofficial Rick and Morty podcast.
You know, I always get confused about the origins of President's Day, so I appreciate you clearing that up. I always think it's the first one, but it's the second. It's the birthday. That's
I actually don't know. I looked up President's Day before we started this, and I was like, you know what? I'll just it probably has something to do with Washington.
It's one of those two things. It's one of those two things. I'm sure. Anyway, hello everybody. I'm Travis.
And I am Brandon, and we're here to talk to you about President's Day. President's Day got its beginnings with the celebration of Washington's birthday every year on February 22nd. Congress officially made the day a federal holiday in 1968, when it also moved it to the third Monday of February to make a 3-day weekend.
Classic.
And welcome to your Rick and Morty podcast.
Welcome to your U.S.-specific federal holidays podcast. Or in the off season, we do some Rick and Morty content. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys, gals, everyone in between. If you are new here, if you're just hearing this or seeing this for the first time, thank you. Thank you for checking it out. We're so happy that you're here. We make Rick and Morty content as much as possible. We have reviewed every episode that has existed so far and are very much looking forward to Season 5's arrival at some point.
Someday.
In history, in time. In the meantime, you can follow us all over the social internet. We are out on Twitter at Rick and Morty Pod, on Facebook at facebook.com/Rick and Morty Podcast, or you can send us an email, rickandmortypodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Reddit. We have our own subreddit, rickandmortypodcast.reddit.com, or we're active. We're all over that official rickandmorty.reddit.com subreddit. And then you can find this show specifically at our website, rickandmortypod.com. Most Monday nights, you can find us streaming live over at twitch.tv/apathetic enthusiasm. Not tonight, for a variety of reasons. One being that power is not guaranteed in this podcast because it is so cold in the Midwest that I don't know if I'll have power by the end of this podcast.
If Travis drops out for whatever reason, I'm just going to keep going, and I'm going to carry
quit.
I'm going to carry the rest of the episode. So just a heads up for those who are listening, I got this.
Yeah,
I've got you, and I will.
and I feel like he could do it. I feel like he could talk to himself for an extended period of time. It won't be a problem.
I will carry you to the promised land, which is the end of this episode.
There it is. If you want to see a video version of this podcast, you can always check out youtube.com/apathetic enthusiasm. You can like, subscribe, comment, do all the things that people do on YouTube. This episode will be up on YouTube. So if you miss seeing our faces, go check it out over on YouTube. Finally, you can support this show.
And I look pretty attractive today. I
look cold. I
feel cute. Well, maybe that's what it is I'm comparing myself to you.
To me, bundled in a beanie with a sweatshirt on. I have an old man blanket over my legs. We don't know if my legs work anymore or not.
I took the dog for a walk just a couple minutes ago, and it's like a cool 78.
Gosh.
And the wind is blowing. Ah, my gosh.
The wind is blowing here too, which is why there's like a negative 25 wind chill. But anyway, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about patreon.com/Rick and Morty Pod, where you can support the show financially. Go grab yourself a t-shirt over at TeePublic. apatheticenthusiasm.com/shop is a great way to get those. Anyway, enough of this business. Enough of these must talk about things. We're here to talk about presidents. I don't know. What are we here to talk about? Brandon, how's your week going? How are you doing? It's the informal part of the show where we just banter.
Okay. Yeah, I mean we're not doing an Apathetic Enthusiasm this week. This is the time for RAM. But if you want to know more about Apathetic Enthusiasm, go to apatheticenthusiasm.com. for all of your latest episodes. I'm doing good. We had a 3-day weekend, 4-day, 3-day, whatever. It was I was off.
It was
but
a long
I did
weekend. It was long.
But I did a lot of housework. I remulched my front yard. I pressure washed my driveway and my patio in the back. And let me just tell you, people have always talked to me, old men usually, where they're like, "Oh, you pressure washing a driveway? Let me tell you, oh, there's nothing better. There's nothing better that I feel about pressure washing." And I was like, that sounds absurd.
Okay, so Jerry.
I borrowed my buddy's pressure washer, and I pressure washed my driveway, and just like
Isn't it the best?
Just
Isn't it the best?
It's the best.
It's the
My
best.
driveway is amazingly clean right now.
I am also doing lots of housework in preparation for a move, and hit the old back patio with a pressure washer. Oh, magnifique, magnifique. Yeah, and now if I tried to do that, I would just create an ice rink in my backyard. So
you know what we should do? I'm just looking at topics for Rick and Morty going into the future, looking for content. Why don't we have a chores specific episode of Interdimensional? Yes. So weed whacking. They clean up in a couple of different episodes. I think we should talk about that aspect.
Talk about the daily chores of the Smith family. Yeah. or the ongoing chore. All right, hey, write it down. Nothing off limits. If you guys have an idea for a topic you want us to cover, send it our way. We already talked about all the ways you can get a hold of us. We'll figure it out. We will.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we have to cover all of the late breaking news in a segment we like to call semi-pertinent news.
Semi-pertinent news. Running. For those who were watching on video, you saw that I was doing a running thing.
And that I almost spit something all over my microphone when we started talking about running. Anyway, here we are, semi-pertinent news. These are some things that are somewhat related to Rick and Morty that are happening right now. And the first one, we talked about this in our last episode, but the Harmontown reunion is right around the corner. Sunday, February 21st, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. That is going to be a reunion. Dan Harmon, Jeff Davis, Spencer Crittenden, Rob Schraub will be there. Emily Gordon and Kumail Nanjiani will also be special guests. You can buy tickets for the stream. This is a streaming event. So I think they're like $15 a piece for you to watch this, and then it will be streaming for like another week or so after that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You can't make it on February 21st.
That's what old Jeff B. Davis said in their video today with Spencer.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that video. What was it? Was it delightful?
It was them talking about this Sunday, February 21st at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, with Dan Harmon, Jeff Davis, Spencer Crittenden, Rob Schraub, special guests Emily Gordon, and Kumail Nanjiani. Are you going to attend? Are you going to?
I want to. I want to watch it. Yeah, was not a longtime Harmontown fan, but became a very dedicated Harmontown listener in the last like year and a half, maybe 2 years of the show. So yeah, I'd love to listen to it. I am working my way through the back catalog of Harmontown episodes.
Yeah.
I completed. I think I've gone through the whole Harmon tour when they toured early on, and just listen back to some of the old classics. A lot of great D&D content in those early like Spencer years. So highly recommend. Highly recommend.
That's really cool. Maybe I'll check it out. But I think for this weekend, I might fork out some digits and attend with you. Maybe we'll if you're listening to this and you plan on attending, make sure you hit us up on Twitter or wherever else and let us know, and we'll say hi to each other.
Maybe we can hang out afterwards, like a post-show hangout.
Yeah. Post-show Malone.
Yeah, post-show Malone. That's exactly what we'll call it as well. Yeah. Anyway, this is something we just literally came up live on the podcast. So details on our social
Forthcoming.
media over
But
the next
only
week or so.
if one or more of you hits us up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're not doing
If
it.
you don't hit us up, we ain't doing it.
It's true. Or I mean,
it's pretty true. Yeah.
We laugh about it, but no, it's absolutely true. No interest, no doing. But speaking of no interest, no doing, Dan Harmon. That's not accurate to the segue at all. Dan Harmon. This is new bit of news. Has a new animated show series over at Fox coming out. The announcement says. On Monday, Fox announced the series, which takes place in mythical ancient Greece and will be centered on a flawed family of humans, gods, and monsters that tries to run one of the world's first cities without killing each other. A new animated series by Dan Harmon.
The man is busy.
Even
though he looks like, every time I'm on Instagram seeing his posts, it looks like he's not doing anything except like letting his workshop just go to squalor, and he's finally cleaning up. He's making it look better, but he's a busy guy. What is this IndieWire article, which we'll link in the show notes. There's a quote in here that says, "Leave it to Dan Harmon to turn the mythos of early Greek civilization into remarkably sharp commentary on today's politics, celebrity, and pop culture." That's from the president of entertainment over at Fox, Michael Thorne.
Hey, President's Day.
President's Day. It's all about presidents over here, right?
all about presidents.
So, I don't know. I think this will be good. I mean, Community was phenomenal. Rick and Morty, obviously, we love it. Let's do another animated Dan Harmon show. And I feel like this isn't a threat to Rick and Morty because of the 70 episode contract and the fact that they're probably 2 seasons ahead of animation now and writing Rick and Morty. There's probably a little bit more like space for Dan Harmon to work on another show.
Yeah, that's a good point about the space of them being ahead of things with Rick and Morty now. Originally, Philip Marks was talking to him on Twitter about the announcement, and was like, "Well, it seems kind of weird. It's going for like HBO Max, Warner Brothers, Warner Media, and then going to Fox/Disney." To do a series. But then I was like, well, Solar Opposites was the same thing with Roiland and Mike McMahon going over there to Hulu, which is Fox, or which is Disney.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not too far off. I guess
you say all these names, but it's all owned by the same company. It's weird. It's weird. They're all these shell companies, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like a little bit of a jump there, but at the same time, I don't know. I think that's still how the entertainment industry works, and certain companies, certain production companies have budgets for different types of content, and then they just look for the right creators to kind of make the right show, and
That's
hopefully Fox. I don't know, like, is this going to be part of Fox's like animation domination or whatever nights or whatever they have with like Simpsons and Family Guy and.
I think this is part of something different,
Okay.
I'm not looking at the article, and I'm not going to research it right now because we're trying to do a podcast.
We're doing a podcast here.
But I think
I didn't see
there's-
anything that said this was like a Disney Plus exclusive. So
No.
probably not.
I think it's part of some special thing with Fox, but that's for another show, another different podcast probably. Moving on from that, speaking of different things, if you haven't caught our Rick and Morty Loot Crate unboxing video from a month ago,
Many of you have.
maybe you should go check that out. We look at stuff from last quarter's Rick and Morty unboxing, and some pretty good stuff there. So if you don't want to watch that video, hey, I'm no sweat off my brow. But make sure, if you are interested in Rick and Morty stuff, head over to Loot Crate and sign up using the promo code inter_15, lootcrate.com/Rick Brandon is telling you to do this. ASPX enter_15.
That link is not real. Do not follow that link. All links made up by Brandon are purely made up by Brandon. Thank you.
I really want somebody to go to that link, screenshot it for me, and I will
Show
mail
us
you
the
a
404 page. We want to see it, guys.
I will send you a interdimensional RSS button in the mail if you do that.
Oh,
and tag us over on Rick and Morty Pod on Twitter.
There you go. Go do that. Go. Yeah, and it was fun opening that box. Hopefully, we can open more loot boxes in the future, assuming we have homes and cameras with which to do them in.
Well, there's one last bit of semi-pertinent news here, Travis. It's what we love. It's probably the only thing people come to listen to this podcast about. It is the Dan Harmon Social Media Minute. Dan Harmon. Oh man, that's that.
I've been listening. You like jazz?
That was
like
classy.
jazz?
You've been listening to a lot of Miles Davis, huh?
Yeah, and some John Coltrane too. Okay. Side note before we get into the Dan Harmon Social Media Minute. I had like a John Coltrane album on while I was folding laundry, and my wife came in and she looked at me and she said, "What are you listening to?" I was like, "It's jazz. Sorry, I'm kind of liking jazz. Maybe, I'm getting older, Sheena. This could be like a midlife situation, all right? And you need to accept that." And she looked at me dead in the face and said, "You listening to jazz while folding laundry? If that's your midlife crisis, I'm all for it." So there it is, everybody. I'm a Jerry at heart. Anyway, speaking of Jerry's, Dan Harmon is over on Instagram at Dan Harmon. He is no longer on Twitter or anywhere else on the social media sphere. Maybe he's in like Clubhouse now or whatever that new app that Elon Musk is in. I don't know. I'm not using it. But on February 14th, it was Valentine's Day, and Dan Harmon shared an original song tagging his fiancée, Cody Heller. Let's take a quick listen.
I forgot that it was Valentine's Day, and I felt bad till I realized that you'd forgotten too. And it occurred to me that it's a holiday for couples with a little more to prove than me and you. I'll never leave till the day I die, and even after that, I'll still be dropping by. I'll be a creepy ghost that scares the men you date, invisible to most, feeding off my hate until you also die. And then I'll be like, hey, I forgive you.
All right, there it is. Dan Harmon's Valentine's Day song to Cody, with special video interlude as well. If you want to see that, definitely go check out his Instagram, or I'll add the video to the YouTube video too. So
I do really want to see it. I do really want to see
especially
it. Especially because
you can't
hear it.
usually hear things when I podcast, when I share them from this side. So I can't wait for you to hear it, Brandon, because it's good. I really like the songwriting knack that Dan Harmon has is I feel like an underappreciated skill, and while there's some definite filtration happening in his recording, he knows how to use the tools. He's got the tools, and he knows how to use them, and and I think it's a great song. So happy Valentine's Day to them and to everyone. It is a consumeristic holiday, and I don't need a holiday to tell my wife that I love her. That's all there is to it.
That's right.
all right, everybody. That's it for semi-pertinent news. If you have a news story that is semi-pertinent to Rick and Morty that you think we should talk about, make sure you share that with us over on Twitter, Facebook, email. Just just shout it out from the window and hope we hear it. Any way that you want, any way that you want to do that.
I've got news.
Somebody talk about season 5. All right, everybody. Go ahead, Brandon.
No, I was just gonna say we don't have any season 5 news. So
Yeah, no, that's hardly pertinent. Anyway, Valentine's Day is over. This is President's Day, and the only way to celebrate it is with the main thing.
It's a main thing after all. That's how did I go for? I don't know.
Did like the presidential song just turn into "It's a Small World" from Disneyland?
Yeah.
We're cultured.
There it is.
Over here. There it is. This is the main thing.
Cultured.
This is the main thing. Thank you guys. As we have alluded to here in the United States, it is President's Day. And we thought, hey, why not? Let's do a character study from Rick and Morty on a character that is extremely important, very, very talked about.
Yes.
Basically the main character of the show.
Super important to the mythos of everything that we've seen starting mid-season 2 and really has developed and shaped the history of what we know season 3 and season 4 to be, and presumably what season 5 and beyond will be.
Yeah. And that's Fart from
Fart. Voiced by Jermaine Clement.
Yeah. No, of course we were talking about the president. The president from Rick and Morty, the president of the United States.
That's right.
Not actually named in the show, as far as I can tell.
The president.
The president. That is the character's name.
Voiced by the great Keith David, who many fans will recognize as damn it, what is a giraffe's name in Total Recall?
What is short neck? No, he's short neck giraffe. Is that it?
No, that's not it.
No, not.
Shoot, I didn't do the research on that before I
Good thing
it.
I have my Rick and Morty art book here, so
while
you
look that up,
some parasites.
Reverse giraffe. There we go.
Reverse giraffe. That's it.
Reverse giraffe, and also Childs from The Thing, the John Carpenter classic from 1982, which was a box office bomb, by the way, but has gone on to renowned cult classic success, spawning a prequel starring Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Just a fantastic bunch of stuff there. So we wanted to
find a reverse giraffe, but we got there.
Okay, great. So we wanted to talk about the president here a little bit. Just we need content. You need something to listen to, and so we figured we'd talk about this. And it's been a while since you and I have probably watched an episode of Rick and Morty. So getting us back in the habit of watching a couple episodes to just I was having a conversation the other day. Philip Marks again, about like why don't you just watch the show because you enjoy it and not just for work. I'm like, well, because I do enjoy it not just for work, but I also like remembering names of characters and episode titles, and it's been so long since I've done it that I'm like, it's starting to slip away.
Yeah. And it is funny there's 2 episodes that we really focused in on for this content, and then a 3rd episode that we will discuss as well. But going back to like Get Swifty, mid-season 2, and then even Richurian Morty Date, the season 3 finale, both obviously featuring the president, the reason we watch those episodes. But going back to some of the like classic episodes, realizing that the season 3 finale was still so long ago, even though it's like only a season away, like from where we are now. Going back to some of these episodes is just like, man, some great content. This show's pretty good. We should do a podcast about it. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. You have the details from those episodes. Get Swifty again, season 2, episode 5, written by Tom Kaufman, directed by Wes Archer. And then Rick Chori and Morty Date, the season 3, episode 10 finale, written by Dan Harmon himself, directed by Anthony Chun. Is it Chun? Okay.
Yes.
And then for a bonus, we also will be talking a little bit about the Rick Lantis Mix-Up season 3, episode 7, also known as Tales from the Citadel, written by Dominic Polcino. Polka. Directed by Dan Guterman and Ryan Ridley.
I think I have that backwards. It should be written by Guterman and Ridley, and directed by Polcino. You know, I'm sorry, I screwed you up.
Oh no, my power's out. Good luck with the podcast, Brandon.
Oh no, okay, all right. So here we go. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get this started. I originally this week's episode, because we want to get back in the habit of things. Originally, we were going to talk about some. We were looking at other ideas, and because it was President's Day, we're like, okay, you know what? Fuck it. We'll talk about the president. So let's go ahead and get it started. We know he's not a huge character, but I was kind of interested and fascinated by how in the season 2 episode 5 they introduced the president, and he's kind of like, he loves Rick and Morty, and he ends that episode with like, I love you, I love these guys, and then to see him again at the end of season 3, where clearly an antagonist now, well, not clearly an antagonist, he becomes an antagonist.
It's weird because in Get Swifty, this is our first introduction to who the president is in whatever dimension we're watching for Rick and Morty. And he seems like a pretty cool guy, right? Like he's up on his musical tastes, like The Dream. You don't know who The Dream is. And he seems to advocate a lot for Rick and Morty, handing off to Rick to kind of be like, yeah, these floating heads want to put us in a music competition. I trust you, Rick. You're the one. And even though you have like these military generals who are like, no, let's just launch nukes at them, and he's like, no, let's give him a chance. Let's advocate for these guys.
That was a great Kurtwood Smith impression, by the way.
Thanks,
Travis.
I practiced it all day. Okay, that's all I did.
You're in
the only way to stay warm.
You were in a Red Foreman barbershop quartet in your college years.
I mean, you know, I didn't think we were getting into my history today, but anyway, the president has a personality to him in that Get Swifty where he uses a lot of like asides, innuendos, like references. Morty asks him if he can fly a Black Hawk helicopter, and his response is, can the Pope's dick fit in a donut?
I'm not sure.
Exactly. And then he haphazardly flies a Black Hawk helicopter out.
There's too many buttons.
But he's really likable, right? And he, throughout that episode, they really don't create the president as a character that we dislike for any reason. Not that I could pick up on. Did you think of anything that made him not likable?
No, that's the thing is up until that point, well, in that episode, I was like, hey, that president's kind of cool, right? Like, this is a pretty cool character. I want to like, I'm good with hearing more from him. I'm good with having him on another episode eventually.
Let's get him back. The one fault is the end of that episode when Morty's like, hey, can I get a selfie with you on stage? Yeah. And he's like, actually, no. And then he has like Secret Service come in and like break Morty's phone. Which I think is the twist. That's the turn where we start to see another side of the president and the Rick.
Yeah. And that ends up taking us to the Victorian Morty date, which again, season 2, episode 5 is its premiere. Then you wait 2.5 to 3 years essentially to get to the end of season 3 to see him again. And I just as a bit of a meta textual context, the Victorian Morty date was coming after Tales from the Citadel. It was going into the finale. We none of us knew what the finale was going to be for season 3.
Sure.
And so going into season or episode 10 of the 3rd season, and then watching it was it was a little bit of a letdown initially when I watched it, because I was hoping for like a better, maybe not a better, but a different cliffhanger to end the season. And so the first couple times I watched it, I was still kind of tainted by that aspect of it, my own disappointment. But rewatching it, especially so close to Get Swifty as part of a double feature, if you will.
Yeah.
That episode is very, very good in that double feature, because it has callbacks, specifically with the selfie being the catalyst for why Rick is doing what he's doing throughout the episode.
It's interesting because right away when we see the president reintroduced a season and a half later, he doesn't have that same sort of like fun, like joking, I'm gonna go break dance on the stage with Rick and Morty sort of attitude, right?
Oh yeah.
Head bent over. Raise that posterior. Great. The music in that episode. I know we're not talking about music in this one, but we need to do just a whole episode on music. Anyway, he doesn't have that same kind of fun attitude. He's very to the point. As soon as Rick and Morty show up, he's like, "Hey, here's the situation. We got some Googas down in the Kennedy sex dungeon or whatever it was, and I need you to take it out." There's no like familiarity. It's very much like the attitude someone would have if they're just used to telling someone what to do. Like the president is used to getting his way. I'm just gonna tell Rick and Morty what needs to happen. Send them on an adventure. He calls it an adventure in the dialogue, and then like leave them to it, right? So already there's a difference in that kind of relationship, where the last time you see the president in the show, he's hugging Rick and saying that he loves him. And now he's just like, "Hey, here's the deal. Go kill this Googa. See you later. No selfies." Which I think really results in this episode where there is animosity between Rick and Morty and the president, and this pushback where Rick does not want to be treated like a lower character, right?
Oh,
Rick has a superiority complex because he is arguably the most powerful thing in the universe, at least according to the show Rick and Morty, right? Like nothing has bested him. And then you have the president of the United States, who conventionally believes he is the most powerful person on the planet. So you have these two personalities where they both think they are the most important person on Earth, and then they challenge each other on that, and that results in what is ultimately the real conflict of the episode.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting the aspect of Rick is the one who he creates all these little gadgets, and in Get Swifty, he is his wrist laser, whatever, and then he's got snake holsters, right? But he's got the technology to do all this crazy stuff. Even the portal gun, right? Rick has a portal gun, which is handheld, and the president has a deficit tripling portal gun.
Yeah, portal setup. Yeah, whatever.
Portals.
I always love the Minecraft notes, by the way, in this episode, where like they're playing Minecraft at the beginning, they're talking about different Minecraft stuff, and then when they set up the president's portal, it gets initiated with a guy with like a lighter, which is like the same way you start a portal in Minecraft to the Nether, is by lighting it on fire. It's just that note. I always love that piece of it.
I gotta be honest. I noticed multiple times him lighting it with a lighter, and until you saying it, I was like, no, duh. Well, duh. Obviously, that's how you get a portal started. But yeah, anyway, so the difference between tools, the thing with the difference between these two men being Rick creates all of this stuff on his own, and the president has people create it for him,
Right.
and the president relying on all of his tools, and in a way relying on Rick and Morty as tools rather than friends, right?
Sure.
Which is something they comment on against him eventually. Like, you can just call us, as friends periodically.
Yeah. Maybe a selfie every once in a while.
Enough of no. I love Morty's like, no, that's all.
Enough about the selfie. I like the line where like the president's cabinet is reading to him, and they're reading a transcript about something Rick had said about him, calling him a control freak who orders drone strikes to deal with his insecurity. And then he's like, the president gets all frustrated, and they're like, should we drone strike them? He's like, no, that would prove them right. Like, it was like this perfect, like, example of why Rick said that. I just feel like that was a really well done sort of thing. And then the emotional moment in the Oval Office after the president has disowned Rick and Morty. He says, we're not going to deal with them anymore. And then he turns on some emotional music and stares longingly out the window. It's a complicated relationship. All right. It's tough, but really that breakup, I will call it a breakup, I guess, seems to fuel the animosity throughout the rest of the episode, where they're really getting at each other, right? This one-upsmanship, tiny society, tiny nuclear able society found in the rainforest, is now like a race to see which organization, Rick and Morty or the U.S. government, can respond better and in a more effective way. And this continued effort to one-up each other plays out throughout the rest of the episode, and I just think it's tremendous. It really is. You hit the nail on the head earlier, but this playing right after the Rick Lantis mix-up, it doesn't allow the episode to stand on its own, like in terms of how incredible it is as an episode and really as a finale, because I don't think I appreciated it as much as I do going back to it now and re-looking at it. Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about the Rick Lantis mix-up here in a second, but keep in mind, Returning Morty Date came out, it's episode 10. It came out 3 episodes after Rick Lantis mix-up. And watching Get Swifty and Morty Date next to each other, it feels like they are much closer to each other than that, right?
Yes.
With Rick Lantis mix-up and how serious and the overtones, the sinister tones of a presidency being a negative thing, it's oddly placed if you think about it in that context with between Swifty and Morty Date, because going into talking about candidate Morty / President Morty / evil Morty, that is a far different beast, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that the transition into talking about them?
We can keep talking about the Morty Date, but I just want to throw that out there. Like, it's uber serious in the middle.
Yes.
If we're like thematically, if we're trying to keep these things together.
Let's wrap up the idea of the president, right? The U.S. president. I think it's I like the back and forth between him and Rick in this episode. I think it's really fun to watch, and I think there's while I'm never really confident that Rick isn't going to win in the end, there are periods there where they feel almost evenly matched, right? Or there is some fair competition there. So while I don't think this is forever going to be something that thanks to fly fishing Rick showing up and settling everything, it was fun to see that play out and see that fight happen. But I'm really curious. Do you have a preferred version of this president? The going toe to toe with Rick version that we get in the finale, or the let me back you up and dance and drop some fun one-liners that we got in the Get Swifty episode. Do you have a preferred version?
I think I prefer the Swifty version of the president, but I think he is a perfect example of somebody who has a friend who does a lot for them, and then that person takes them for granted and doesn't fully appreciate the things that they're doing, and they're helping. It's like the people who they'll if you need help moving some boxes around or taking some stuff to the dump, they'll like instantly, just let me know, and then they come over, they help you, and then then you're like, all right, well, hey, I'll see you at work on Tuesday, like with nothing, like no money, no, not even like a 6-pack, and so that's kind of what happens by Morty date.
Well, it's like they come over to help move the boxes, and then the next thing you know, you're asking them to build the bunk bed while you leave to go play disc golf. And then they're standing there like, why am I building this bunk? I don't want to do this. And so then they, kill your Secret Service members, on contact or whatever.
Hey, can you help me? I just, I'm getting ready to move. Can you just help me put some boxes into the Uto truck? Like, yeah, no, sure, no problem. Then you get to the house and like, yeah, and all the boxes are still all broken down. And you're
we
like,
also need to pack the boxes.
Just throw stuff in the boxes. It's fine. Just whatever you see, just put it in a box and just. Nah, man. Nah. Get back to me when you pack your boxes.
Let me know when the boxes are packed. I'll be playing Minecraft. I'll be moving fake boxes in a video game. Thank you.
So I have one more thing to say about the president, but ask you the question first. Which do you prefer?
I do prefer the Get Swifty version. I think the person being in the highest seat of power, but being the most chill, like laid back one, and then having like all of the people at the Pentagon, not the Pentagon, but like the lame one here on Earth, them all being like hyper serious and like wanting to be all militaristic and then you have him in that just slightly higher seat, just being like chill and being like, let's see what they can do. Like Get Swifty was a jam, or whatever. It's a bop now is what it is. So
yeah, that's
but yeah, I do like that version of the president.
Yeah. The last thing I wanted to say was it kind of a comment on the president that can almost stand toe to toe with Rick. And I know early on in the series we're like, Rick can do no harm and Rick can't be defeated by anybody, and how kind of not trite, but just like how common that refrain is. But I will say Rick didn't want to beat him. Rick could have easily killed him at any point in time. He just wanted a selfie for Morty.
It's true. He needed that win. And we have talked about these episodes in their entirety, and you can get our full thoughts on the episodes in those podcasts. But the fact that Rick was losing so much at this period in the series and losing control over his family, sort of even losing grip over his ability to get what he wanted for Morty, which was a simple selfie with an elected official. It was really coming to a point there in the series, and then obviously it plays out throughout season 4 later on. Yeah. Once we eventually saw it.
But all that's to say is the president would never have beaten Rick. The president would have been killed instantly if Rick really wanted it to happen. Sure, because I mean, Rick was always he had to break his will. He had to break the president's will. He always knew that those invisible soldiers were there. He always,
Oh, please.
he tricked him with Sanchezium. He was always ready
He's
for.
not. He's not really afraid of pirates. That one was true. Anyway, let's move on to the other president from the Rick and Morty series. That is, of course, President Morty, featured in the Tales from the Citadel, the Rick Lantis mix-up. This is a. I mean, obviously a great episode. Probably one of the best in the series so far, and it's fun to go back to, just like the other ones were. I haven't watched this episode in a long time. I know when you were watching it, you were sending me messages just like talking about how great the episode is in general. But it does do a great job of talking a little bit about presidential elections and the different candidates and that entire election subplot, because you do have, a variety of different plots happening within the same episode. It's really fascinating. It's fascinating to see a campaign full of different types of Ricks with this unsuspecting outlier Morty, and how he really rises to power at the Citadel, by using the people, the common Morty and Rick, if you will. Hey, I'm a plumber, Rick. Oh, that doesn't seem like a job for Rick. Oh yeah, I don't know. It's good.
Using the populist sentiment to win yourself an election. The original air date on this was September 10th of 2017, which as long as it takes to get into to write an episode of Rick and Morty, especially going into season 3, like we know how long that took. There was some probably clear 2016 election overtones that had seeped their way into the Rick Lantis mix-up. I don't know.
Dan. No,
I'm not a poli-sci major. I'm just assuming these things. But it's contrasting with, we just talked about the president of the U.S. in Rick and Morty. This is the president of a bunch of Ricks and Mortys on a Citadel.
Sure.
And just the idea that like not a third world country, but a different country somewhere else. This is happening to them. It's not happening to the United States. Yeah. I think that's kind of an interesting way to think about it. But Evil Morty, President Morty, that hell of a thing.
Yeah. The way he immediately shifts when he comes into power and completely like overturns the Citadel. I mean, what we don't have to say it for you. You're a Rick and Morty fan. You probably love this episode as much as we do. But I don't know. I still in the primaries, I was pulling for Juggler Rick. I just felt like he really he felt like a candidate that could really handle multiple things at the same time, and I thought he had a shot. Let's talk about benefits.
Yeah, can we talk about the candidates real fast?
Sure.
I'm with you. Like I thought Juggling Rick was probably the best one. He what is it? Education way high.
Yeah. I mean, it's about time we have a juggler in the White House. That's all.
Yeah, we had a saxophone player. We had a bankrupt businessman. Look, it's time that we get jugglers up in there. Yeah, we had an actor. We had a former actor with Reagan, who was head of SAG for a while. I think
I wonder if there have been some juggling presidents, but that skill is so underutilized in that role that it's just not really recorded in the histories. It's something we really need to dig into and uncover.
I want to throw this out there so Rick Lantis mix up. There's a bunch of election kind of election candidate intrigue movie references, like I was going to say Philadelphia experiment, but that's not it. Just whatever, like All the President's Men and stuff like that. But what if, hear me out, Travis, what if John F. Kennedy, the big thing that I remember reading in the history books was John F. Kennedy, he was a Catholic, and people did not like Catholics. And so a lot of people didn't want to vote him in to the presidency because he was Catholic at the time. What if, and hear me out, bear with me, what if it was either admitting he was Catholic or admitting that he was a juggler full time? And his advisor's like, look, if you have to pick one or the other, our preference is called Catholicism. Don't admit you're a juggler. You'll lose. But
I got a solid 5-ball cascade that, like, it's the strongest platform I can run on.
John F, don't do it. Don't do
Listen,
it.
You head to mass and you leave those juggling clubs here. All right, we don't need any of that in this presidency.
And then Kennedy's like, okay, see, it's a Holy Trinity. It's a Father, the Son, Holy Spirit.
And then he does a spin move and then catches all three of them. And flourish. Ta-da. Anyway.
No, Kennedy, no. Just Catholicism, that's it.
That's your deal. That's your deal. That's and the Bay of Pigs. Anyway, I don't know. That pretty much sums up the mention of presidents in Rick and Morty. If you have other thoughts about either of these presidents, or if there's anything that we missed or didn't cover presidentially related in an episode, make sure to hit us up over at Rick and Morty Pod on Twitter, or send us an email, rickandmortypodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We love talking to you guys about the show. So thank you for your comments. It is now time for listener suggestions and short outs, where we highlight listeners just like you. Brandon, do you have the first short out?
I do. Really, I think we only have the one short out. Okay. Which is, I have one highlighted, but then the page froze on me. Okay. It was meant to delete that. The one short out that we actually have, I am selling my house.
Congratulations.
And in order to sell your house, here's the thing, Travis. In order to sell your house, you want to make it look as great as you can. You want to clean it up. You want to clean the baseboards. You want to move shit out of the way and hide it in a closet, so a photographer can come in and take just the best pictures you can.
So great.
I want to shout out my photographer that came into the house today and took a bunch of pictures of the house. I don't want to say your name because I don't know how you feel about that. But I want to thank her for coming into my podcast room, and be like, oh, that's a cool setup. What do you do? You do like podcasting or play video games? Like, oh, a little bit. I do podcasting. And then she saw my Rick and Morty pictures on the wall. And she's like, oh, and you like Rick and Morty? I'm like, yeah, actually that's what I do the podcast about. And she's like, oh, what's it called? And then she immediately got her phone out and subscribed to us. And so
if this goes out to you, house staging photographer person, thank you for taking wonderful pictures of Brandon's house and subscribing. Thank you for subscribing. If you hear this, send Brandon the pictures, I guess. We appreciate that.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
And we appreciate all of you as well. If you are listening for the first time and you are listening on whatever podcatcher you listen to, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever podcasts are found, if there's a way to rate or review the show on that platform, we appreciate you doing that. If you're just checking this out for the first time, hit that subscribe button so that you get new episodes whenever they are released. And thanks just to everybody. I know we're not streaming this tonight. Normally we would probably have several short outs from the live stream. But if you leave a comment on this YouTube video or whatever, we love sharing those comments as well. So thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And Brandon, any final thoughts?
My final thought is this. All of you mean everything to us. with all the breaks and all the waits that we've had for Rick and Morty, you're the number one stunners here, not us. We are just the harbingers of waiting, of wait time.
Yes, harbingers of waiting. That's us. That's us.
I had a better thought programmed, but I had to chug some wine earlier, and I wasn't a fan of it. I was thirsty, and so I'm like wine isn't a thirst quencher. You understand? Wine is, you gotta sip it, but then if you're chugging it, then you're like, oh god, I'm already thirsty, and it's a red wine. It was a dry red.
Ooh.
And it's just like, it made it pucker. And so I switched to vodka tonic. Anyways, thank you all for listening. I appreciate all of you. Travis appreciates you too. He doesn't have to say it. I just said it for him. And until 2 weeks from now, unless we hear any surprise announcements, I am Brandon.
And I'm Travis.
And thank you for listening.
Bye.
I'm going to send you a button. Make sure to go to the website.
Bye, YouTube.
Yeah.